Hi everyone and welcome to Book Club with Bay. I am Bay and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And this is other Bay. Say hi.
Hello.
Today we're talking about A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. The fourth slash fifth book, depending on how you're counting, in the Court of Thorns and Roses slash not slash spinoff slash one slash whatever.
It's a book.
It depends on who you ask.
It's a book that includes all the characters from A Court of Thorns and Roses, but it has a new main character. Or two new main characters, but they're not new, but whatever.
Yeah. And it continues the story. Anyway,
ACOTAR.
Yeah, but it starts a new naming convention where we can't say the thing out of the
After reading it, I still feel like Silver and Flames would have worked.
Yeah, same. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I know there was specifically Silver Flames, but it could have just been Silver and Flames and it would have been fine. Or A Court of Stairs and Sex.
It's Court of Stairs and Sex.
That would have been more accurate, but I mean they're both accurate, but as far as what gets more screen time, A Court of Stairs, to be honest.
Although I will say, I was telling my husband this yesterday.
Or just stairs.
Yeah, this book has inspired a workout trend.
Yep. I've seen it on TikTok.
And
I would not wish that on myself or anyone.
Especially when you actually take into account the correct amount of stairs one would have to do.
Yeah.
Which is 20,000.
And then when you it was like 17 something.
Yeah.
412.
Yeah.
But then also, when you factor in that, at least, she's not just running down, she's running back up when she's done.
Yeah, so it's double whatever.
So you have to do it twice. You have to do 34,000 stairs.
Yeah, it's not.
And it's still not.
And they're a foot high, down. By the way.
Yeah, and they're very high, yes.
Not only that, she's starting at altitude at 10,000 feet up.
Yeah.
At least above sea level, at minimum. Not only that, you have to do altitude sickness first, and then no, ma'am.
Yeah, because we don't know how high Valaris is above sea level.
Yeah, we don't know how
well above 10,000 feet.
Yeah, it's based on oh god, I don't remember what city specifically in Switzerland the city's based on, but if you look at all of the oh god, Christian and I were gonna go there. I don't remember.
City is Valaris based on. Here we go. Zamet.
Yes.
Okay, so
what's
it has altitude?
Because the Matterhorn is in all of the images of Valaris. Because it's where it's where the House of Wind is supposed to sit on.
So Zamet has an altitude, where the village is situated, at an altitude of 5,315 feet. So she is 50.
That's about reasonable.
Feet
it's very reasonable. Yeah.
I don't know what that is because I can't picture that, but I'm going to say high.
It's high.
Well,
so a lot of people experience altitude sickness at 8,000 feet above sea level. 8,000 feet is when you can start experiencing altitude sickness, especially if you're not used to it and you're used to being at sea level. So yeah.
How high is Everest?
That's 23,000 feet, something like that.
29,000. So she's halfway. She's at least halfway to Everest, the top of Everest at this point.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
But sorry, real quick. But Machu Picchu, for example, is 8,000 feet above sea level, and that's in Peru. And a lot of people experience altitude sickness getting to going through the Andes
peak.
and getting to Machu Picchu, and like that hike can be very difficult for people who don't live there, because it's like the air is already thinner, especially like in the Andes, and getting up. So people experience altitude sickness even before they get to 10,000 feet, and because the stairs are specifically described as being a foot high, they're at least 10,000
which
feet
is why we're
of stairs.
we're saying it's like the equivalent of about 17,000 stairs, because I think someone did the math, and the average stair being 7 inches, so you convert, but it's still not like for like, right? Because you still having to take those extra steps, but height wise, it's the equivalent of about 17,000 stairs.
It's just,
which is a lot. I didn't realize,
and the people doing that, like I said, I wouldn't wish on anyone.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about when I had to, when the elevator was broken at my old work, and we worked on the 7th floor, and going up those stairs hurt.
I lived on the 4th floor.
I was really fit then. I was training for a marathon.
I lived on the 4th floor of an apartment complex for a couple years, and every now and then the elevator would go out, and I would just be so unhappy. And it was it's technically 8 flights because it was those little half and halves, but that was horrible.
It sucked. when those elevators would go out.
Yeah, and you'd just be like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, and one thing though that husband can't get over there, because I was telling him about the stair thing, right? And he goes, "Why did she go back up?" Because I was saying about how the whole book is her trying to get to the bottom.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Why doesn't she just sit down, have a rest, and then keep going?" He's like, "She's got enough energy to crawl back up.
Symbology.
She could have just sat."
Symbology.
And I'm because book plot. That's why. She wanted to do it all in one go without stopping. He goes, "Well, that's stupid. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of." And I'm like, "You don't ruin this for me. How dare you?" We were proud of her when she made those stairs.
Yeah. I mean, not the first time, because the first time ended really badly, but...
Oh, also, it was kind of like a blink and you miss it moment as well.
Oh, yeah.
It was just
sorry. Also, ratings. You guys go first.
Oh, this is a 5 for me. I love this one. This is probably my favorite one in the whole series. This one and Act of War are fighting.
I'm gonna stick with my normal rating of 5 as well. This is, I like it.
Yeah.
Yes, there is probably room to criticize some stuff, but
there's plenty of times I'm gonna be like, this didn't need to be here. Yeah.
But I also just don't care.
Yeah, same.
It was a 3 for me this time. I don't know why. It just didn't hit me right. A lot of things, a lot of the wrong things stood out to me, and I just don't know why. I remember why I liked it the first time.
Is the fact that 85 to 90% of the book's romantic plot is irrelevant if they had just actually said words to each other just once in the book?
No, it really wasn't that. It was one, the narrator was really getting to me.
See, I didn't listen to it.
They changed the narrator for this book.
Ew.
And when I listened to all audiobooks the first time, the narrator didn't actually bother me that much. But going from the dramatized versions to this, I really noticed that the narrator, I didn't felt like it fit. I felt like the narrator was a really bad choice. And the narrator, the inflections that they were doing, it's not that the narrator in general was bad. I just felt like it was a really bad fit for this book. And the inflections and stuff like that reminded me of some other books and some other writing styles that I don't like. And there are ways that narrators can read books that kind of bring out the worst in someone's writing, and there are ways that narrators read books that can bring out the best. Yeah, well, there's other stuff about the book, but that was like one thing that like did it. Like, so there was that, but then there was just other stuff that like the characters were doing that was rubbing me the wrong way. And I don't know, it might have just been like the mood I was in or whatever. But I just found all of that was just sticking out to me more than like the romantic arc.
Yeah, that's fair.
So maybe me in a better mood. Like it's a 5, but me the last couple
Well, I know
weeks,
you really liked it the first time you read it.
You know, I did. But me the last couple weeks, it was like a 3.
Fair. One thing I really didn't like was I don't know, maybe I didn't like Reese at all this book.
Oh, well, yeah.
He's a prick.
Yeah.
But also, I don't feel like it was consistent with him a lot of the stuff in this book.
No. And that's one of my biggest complaints about this one is
like,
I get that the excuse is he's going feral because his wife's pregnant and she's gonna die. I get that's the reason.
But he was going feral before he knew she was gonna die.
Yeah. But that's because she's pregnant and it's the mating bond and it's all that stuff. Like I get the reason behind it.
But part of me is also like the original trilogy was first person perspective from Pharaoh. So obviously he's always going to be painted in a better light.
Yes.
That series, because she's like, this is my story of how I met my husband. And
right.
And isn't he amazing? But this one, he was such a see you next Tuesday in this book, especially.
Yep. But also Nesta, who's had read most of the time, does not like him. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I also just felt like the actions on paper, I don't know, I guess, you know, that was also part of it was like, I enjoyed the first trilogy so much more. So like wanting to punt Reese out of a window was such like a 180 emotionally that I was like, I don't enjoy feeling that way. Also like coming from, you know, Reese being really grumpy about locking doors and stuff, not Hybern, but like locking doors and then being like, so locking doors, everyone, yay, you know.
I mean, there is the giant glaring issue of Reese would have told Farrah the truth. There is that giant glaring issue that
no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Nesta, where he's like, we're gonna lock doors, or like, because like the choice he gives her at the beginning of the book is not like, it's not really a choice, but he's like, we're gonna imprison you. And I get that it's so that she can be in the same place as Cassie, so that they can like, you know, do sex. But no, she is basically imprisoned.
No, because she could have gone down. Going downstairs isn't as hard as going up. Like her husband said, just take a rest and then keep going.
Maybe
if she really wanted to be free.
Some stairs, you know, like she's 5.
Like scoot, but scoot. She could have done.
Well, it is at least presented in the book like it's impossible for a human to get for somebody who doesn't have wings to get downstairs. Like everyone acts like it's impossible. I don't know. That's how you're supposed to think of it anyway. The book presents it like it's impossible.
It is 10,001 foot high stairs. It would be very difficult.
Oh yeah, it would be so difficult. But if she was really that miserable, she could have left. And also, she admits later in the book that she's like, "This was the best thing that could have happened to me." Like y'all were all right.
I'm just saying. Yeah, but like,
I think, look, the way I'm looking at this one is, it's when you've got like your hardcore junkie heroin addict.
Yeah, you lock them in a room.
You're going to rehab.
Weeks. Yeah,
you're going to rehab.
Exactly.
You're going through detox, and you're stuck in there. How dare you? So I just see that this is like the fantasy book equivalent of rehab.
You got to go to rehab, exactly. Yeah.
But no, I do have issues with Feyre and Reese in this one, and Feyre kind of suffers from former main protagonist syndrome, where like for example in Bloodlines, when we every time Rose is on page in Bloodlines, it's a sequel series to Vampire Academy, I'm just like, how did we live 6 books in her head? Because this is annoying. Because everyone's like, Rose is so amazing. How great is she? And even Sydney's like, Rose is so amazing. How great is she? I'm like, she's actually kind of annoying when you nod in her head. Why do people like her?
It's very interesting. It's interesting to go. I wish that part of me wishes that she just on first person though, with Nesta.
Yeah. Well, I had issues with the third person in this one because there wasn't a clear switch between, because while it was third person, we were limited to Nesta and Cassian. Yes. And we would just go from Nesta, and then all of a sudden we'd be in Cassian's head, and you would take a minute. It would take a minute to realize that you had switched heads.
That is her writing style with third person books, where most of the time it's marked off, but sometimes you'll be reading and I just reread Crescent City, and sometimes it'll be like Bryce blah 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 Hunt blah blah blah, and you're like, oh okay, we're in Hunt's head now. I've read so many of her books that are like that it doesn't faze me anymore.
Yeah. You get more used to it as the book goes on, but at first I'm like, this is really jarring. Because I'm like, I don't know whose head we're in at any given point.
Yeah. It's going to be really bad when we do Throne of Glass, and there's like literally 11 different head characters. Because I tried to reread the first one, and I was like, I can't do it right now. Mentally, I can't deal with it right now.
Okay, so pray for us.
Yeah, so Throne of Glass is just my least favorite by far. That's just I want to reread the whole thing.
Series or book?
Series. The whole series is my favorite.
Okay.
Throne of Glass itself, it doesn't feel like Sarah J. Maas, but we'll get there in weeks.
I mean, months. To be fair, that was her first.
Yeah, exactly.
That was her first one, so. But yeah, no, it was I just feel like, for example, being inside Nesta's head and being inside Cassian's head didn't change my view of them. It didn't make them more sympathetic. It more or less just confirmed what I thought how Nesta was. But yeah, being outside of Reese and Farrah's head was just like, please, can we go back in or just not have them on page?
Yeah, really annoying. Farrah was more okay than Reese to me, but yeah, Reese was just a feral.
Especially
he's feral, which is the point.
I also hated the reaction to Nesta. I don't care what Nesta's motives were in telling Farrah. Someone had to fucking tell her.
It was so malicious, though. I don't think Reese should have freaked out as much as he did, but it was she even later is she's like, it was malicious. I didn't tell her because she needed to know. I told her because I wanted her to hurt. So
yeah, look, again though, someone had to tell her, and when she's standing there, and when Reese is standing there fucking lecturing her,
oh yeah,
about integrity or whatever the fuck he was lecturing her about, and then she's like, you want to fucking talk about integrity?
Yeah, right.
Like, she's got a point.
Yes. Oh, 100%. 100%. They act like they're all holier than thou. But.
Yeah, no, I got a little bit nervous for a second there, though, as well. I think it was towards the beginning of the book when she's first watching Cassian and Azrael train or something, and she's like, I wonder what a threesome with them would be like. Please, let's not.
I would have warned you.
Yeah, we would have said something.
We would have been like, so do you remember what happened to From Blood and Ash? This is what happened here. No.
Well, I don't know if you would have warned me though.
No, we would have.
It wouldn't be anywhere near as weird as Blood and Ash, but two, maybe this one of those things where it's just like, lol, wouldn't it be funny if we didn't tell her?
None of us told her. No, there's some Crescent City things that I'm like, lol, wouldn't it be funny if we didn't tell Mara? That I'm so excited about. But it's more like, oh my god, we can't tell Mara because you're the only one here that doesn't know like the biggest thing of that series, and I want to keep it that way.
Okay.
Because you're gonna flip your absolute knob.
Okay. But look, in my head though, I was like, look, I don't think it will, because her and Cassian are mates. I don't see Cassian being down for that, even if she would have been down for it. And I can understand the idle thought, especially considering she's still in her bad girl phase.
Oh yeah.
Like,
plus they're both like beautiful creatures. So
yes. But I'm still not okay with the Batwing thing though. Like with the orgasm part of it. Like whenever she touches wings in any of the sex scenes, I'm like, can we not? Can we just pretend that isn't a thing that exists? Because it didn't have to. And then when we're in his head, he's like, I'm going to teach her all the ways to stroke my wings right.
Yeah,
I'm like, can we not?
It's like we could just like move on.
Yeah, no. The thing that I sent that I want to discuss, I think we should discuss that at the end, though.
Okay.
About the next book and what the next book is supposed to be addressing.
Yes. Yes. Also, would you like to know my favorite Elaine theory now or at the end?
Yes. I don't know. Do I want to know it now or at the end?
It doesn't change
Elaine
anything.
Elaine had a personality this book.
She did. I was very excited about that.
And she had a little bit of a backbone. I liked it.
Uh-huh. Do you want to know? So this was not necessarily a popular TikTok theory, but it was a TikTok theory that I did a lot of research on, and it is very substantive. Elaine is not going to end up with Azriel for multiple reasons. One of them being that Nesta did not adjust her womb. And I know that Sarah would have made, like, if she planned on having Azriel and Elaine end up together, she would have made Nesta adjust her womb just in case, for the Illyrian babies.
That's fair.
But, and I'll have to find the Reddit thread and send it to you. Her love interest is Tamlin. And I'm so here for it.
I saw a thing where it's a theory where Amarantha was actually Tamlin's mate.
Ooh, that's spicy.
Because it brings up the fact that, like, one, he has no respect for the mating bond because he tries to break Rhys and Feyre's.
Mm-hmm.
His behaviors are all selfishly motivated. Everything is about what he wants. Mm-hmm. And he didn't want to be mated to her.
Yeah.
And I know that it is explicitly said in the books that the mating bond is harder for a male to deal with rejection. Yeah. But it doesn't say it's impossible. But also Amarantha and Tamlin are two sides of the same coin. They're like, you're not doing what I want, so I'm going to lock you up and keep you with me. And there was other things as well, but it was, like the end result being the theory. I'll see if I save the video. But that Amarantha was actually Tamlin's mate. And also that's why he went so psycho after she died. Because now his mate is dead.
I'm into that one too. But I mostly want Elaine and him to end up together. I mostly want him and Elaine to end up together. I don't know why.
Spring seems to be the best place for her to be. She loves gardening.
There's some like myth that she's based on. I don't remember what it is that Elaine's like character is based on, and it's something about like, well, one, they're literally Beauty and the Beast. She's referred to as the Beauty. He's referred to as the Beast. And the serial refers to them as like a pair a few times, apparently, with like, I don't know, like I said, I'll have to find the Reddit thread, but it has some good evidence, I will say.
I'm shush. I am down for the what has been hinted at as what it's probably going to end up being a love triangle, right? Or a love
it's going to be a love triangle book. Yeah,
it's going to be a love square, right?
Yeah.
At least with, I think if Azriel's the focus, like the main male love interest in the next book, it's going to be a square, right? Because there's Elaine, but then there's also Lucian.
Oh God, yeah.
I know, but like he's still a factor, and he's always going to be a factor as far as
he is her mate.
concerned.
Yeah.
Yes, but was it Gwen?
Yeah, Gwen.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that's.
I'm loving that flirtation that's been that happened throughout this book.
There's also a really unhinged theory that the main character of Crescent City is actually mates with Azrael, and who knows, man? Who knows?
Well,
that one's unhinged.
This one, I saw this video, and this doesn't do any spoiler or whatever, but she does say that this was an interview that she did late last year, I think, and it was like she was doing a thing, and she got asked a question, and she answered it. Because none of the series take place in the same, like they're all connected in the same general thing, but she more or less confirms the multiverse.
Yeah,
she's like that. She's like there's crossovers of times and places, but just in different dimensions.
Yeah.
So possible.
I guess. I'm excited. All right. Shall I start?
Yes, and I'm gonna mute myself while I find this theory about Tamlin and Amarantha.
Okay.
But I'm also listening to you.
So it's been about a year since everything from the last book happened, or from Act of War happened, I guess. There was a big boat party. Nesta and Amren had a major falling out. Cassian brings Nesta to the river house, where Nesta is bitter about not being represented, but also is like, but I kind of wanted to destroy all my relationships, so it is kind of my fault, so that is fair. It is a Nesta intervention. It's hurting everyone. You're going to the House of Wind with Cassian, and you're going to train, and you're going to work in the library. Farrah
One thing I didn't like about that intervention was, from memory, right? I could be wrong, but from memory, none of it was, this isn't good for you. We're concerned about you. It was you are embarrassing me.
Yes.
You're embarrassing me.
Or you're hurting Elaine. Yeah. Yeah. It was a lot less out of concern. And it was more,
which I can understand why Reese is like that, because he hates her.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. He has no reason to wish her goodwill. Like, at this point, he has no reason to wish her goodwill.
But yeah, no, Farrah was just like, do you know how embarrassed I was paying your bar tab last night?
Oh, yeah. And it's
humiliating for me.
Do you know how sad Elaine is because you're so mean to her all the time? And it's like, okay.
Yeah. Question as well. Do we ever get an actual play-by-play about what happened between Nesta and Amren? Because I know we get the basic gist of what happened.
You're as caught up as the rest of us now.
I know, but I can't remember if it actually happened.
I don't think
it did.
We don't know.
It was more just like, there was like hints of you chose Farrah over me, and she's like, all I said was like, she's not that bad.
Yeah.
But we never actually.
I just wish that we'd had. We don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that's okay or not.
Yeah, I don't really.
If that's okay.
Sometimes
I don't know if we had to see it.
Sometimes things are kind of like better off like not fully explained, because then you just have to. But Reese also gives Cassian a mission this book. He's supposed to deal with the human queens, or like him and Azrael are supposed to be investigating the human queens. They get a fucking side quest that is really irrelevant, quite honestly. It's just to remind you there is something happening over here.
Yeah, so there's 4 formerly human queens, because they're not human anymore, but because there was 6, one of them died, one of them is a bird half the time.
It's Vasa.
But she's so there's 4 left. They're all Fae now, and I guess maybe like in the next 2 books, the other 3 are going to be dealt with, because one of them just dealt with this book.
Because they just won't sign a treaty with the Fae, and that's like the big issue that they have. Nesta is refusing to train, but she's like, I'm not training there. Like, I'm not training at this place.
Yeah, it took him so long.
Took him way too long to be like, oh shit, if we just train at the House of Wind, she'll actually do it. Okay. But anyways, that's not happening yet because Cassian is very distracted by her butt. She does okay at her job in the library. She likes it all right. She makes it I wrote down every time she went down the stairs and how many stairs she made it every fucking time. She makes it 100 steps down and then comes back up. Anyways, Cassian chats with Jurian and Vasa and Eris and Lucian. Oh, because Eris is also acting sus this whole book. Again, the fucking like Akatar side plot thing of like the fallout of the Aka War. Sarah, you could have just given us straight smut and we would have liked it. Like, it would have been fine. But whatever. Eris has a bunch of soldiers that vanished.
I found, like, the world building got, like, I'm not gonna lie, it was, like, a little distracting.
It's a little, like, now I'm like, oh, just give me smut, please. Like, just give me smut. It's fine. You can just, like,
we
Sarah,
have a world now. It's okay.
Me. Sarah, look at me. It's okay. We defeated the big bad. It's time to wrap up relationship ends.
It was
just do it.
You know, it started to get like, it started to get a little bit messy, and like I was like, oh no.
I liked Nesta's portion of it, like finding the artifacts. I liked that. Fine.
Yeah, it was fine. It was just like when we started to get like real political, and it was like, oh, we're not dying, so like politics can happen. I was like, uh-oh. Sentences, stop it. I was like, too many words. Backspace.
Yep.
I'm gonna use the delete key.
Well, Vasa.
Can you? Either one, she's not a fan of the delete key, or two,
we know she's not. Let's be honest.
No, or two, she actually is, and the original manuscript.
Can you imagine?
Imagine if this was a trimmed down version.
Okay, for Crescent City, for the 2 Crescent City books that are out right now, I'd read the unabridged. For this shit, I ain't touching it. Give me the more abridged version. Give me just the boink.
Can you imagine?
It's like this
is the trimmed version of the book.
It probably is the trimmed version. Well, we know it is because there's a bonus scene, so we know that at least one scene was cut.
No, at the end of the ebook, there is a different bonus scene. So I guess the ebook and the physical book have different bonus.
So it's like it was like a Target special edition that or Barnes and Noble special edition or something that has the Asriel scene.
Yeah, the ebook has one with Feyre from Winter Solstice, her perspective. Do you want me to just quickly send it to you?
Yeah, I might have it in mind, but anyways. So Eris reaffirms their alliance. We learn that Vasa is being held by the only surviving relative of the Bone Carver and the Weaver. And he's evil, which is very depressing because I stan his siblings. Nesta and Cassian flirt battle in front of Asriel, and Asriel is like, I'm so uncomfortable by the sexual tension in this room. Nesta finally meets Emery. We have our girl gang.
Wait, I think the hints of this has already started as well, but also Nesta makes a friend, and we don't find out until later that she made the friend.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no. Oh.
No, that she
the
made
house.
a friend. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But I was loving
the house.
I'm not gonna lie. As it was going on, right, I'm just like, and then like the shadows are following in the light. I'm like, please don't tell me that the house is like actually like they're the same. The house is actually lulling her into a false. Turns out they are the same, but it's fine.
It's kind of like I love the house. The house has a great personality. I love honestly, it when she's a character.
Yeah, one of my favorite characters in Morganville is the house. So it made me happy that
a sentient house
the house in this is because it's sassy as well. The house was very sassy with this.
Oh yeah, like where it takes wine away when she walks into a room and she's like, "You don't have to do that, Cassie." And Cassie's like, "It wasn't fucking me, dude. It was ask your best friend."
The house is the best character.
The house is amazing.
You know what? 4 stars. The house. Honestly, the house reminds me of the Magic.
Yes, it does. The house is we are the house. So Nesta officially meets her girl gang, Emery and Gwen. Gwen is from the library. We get her sob story later. Emery, we met last book in A Court of Frost and Starlight. She is the Illyrian woman who had her wings clipped by her father, and we also get her sob story later. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't write down their sob stories.
I remember them.
Okay, good.
It's
Because
fine.
I don't. So
that's right. I forgot they had sob stories.
Yeah. Nesta
has, she's in the library.
Everyone in the library has a sob story, right?
Yeah,
like everyone was abused. Nightmares running down the stairs. She silver flames the stairs. Oh no, she's really mean to Cassian. Farah and Cassian chat, and he's like, "We're gonna move training to the wind." So he makes a bargain with her for an hour of training for any favor. Remember that favor? It takes about 500, 600 pages until it comes back. It's crazy. Training goes well. They admit they don't hate each other. She does a sneaky favor for Gwen, and that solidifies their friendship. We learn about Valkyries, which were a band of legendary female Illyrian warriors. Wait, Valkyries are what source? Like mythology?
Norse.
They're Norse, yeah.
They take fallen warriors to Valhalla.
Midgard's also Norse, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I was wondering why all the Welsh mythology got mixed in with mythology all of a sudden.
It's probably because she started writing Crescent City and was like,
Oh,
I would like more Easter eggs, please.
Well, a lot of the Welsh and I guess Celtic in general mythology was all based in stuff that happens in the more southern courts. The northern courts apparently are a bit more Viking.
Yeah. Which kind of makes sense considering it's the United Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean there's that, but then also a lot of Celtic and Norse mythology, or not necessarily mythology, but rituals, customs, cultures. There is a lot of
overlap,
a lot of crossover. Like they have very similar wedding customs, very similar styles of dress, very similar styles of fighting. Like there's also a lot of differences, but there's a lot of
overlap.
Similarities, and I'm okay with that. I love, especially because also my daughter wants to be fae when she grows up. Like she's like sort of like some chick with like some like thigh length hair, and she's like, yes, please. She wants to be an elf, a fae, a fairy, whatever she wants to be. She wants that. My son wants to be a Viking when he grows up, and I'm like, you know what? Both are fine.
Perfect.
Yeah, you guys could stay. And there was but one of the things they have in common is hand fasting. Hand fasting is very Celtic. They're also very Viking. It's also what me and my husband did at our wedding. We did a hand fasting, and and my cord is over there actually.
Oh,
I'm gonna go get it.
Do it. Okay. It's me. All right.
I'm here. Sorry.
Nesta and Cassian are bonding. Later, we find out from Eris that Baron, his father, wants war with anything that breathes. He just wants to war someone. Ooh.
Yeah. We did an Infinity Knot.
There you go.
Yeah.
We also find out Tamlin is just straight up in beast form, roaming around because he's sad. Which he just needs Elaine to come get him. That's all he needs.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just missed it, but I didn't realize that his beast form was also golden blonde.
Yeah,
is it?
They reference a golden blonde beast.
Here's my thing.
Oh, it is. You're right.
She needs to stop giving us updates on Tamlin, or like just do something about him or whatever. I don't know.
Well, that's why a lot of people think that he could be Elaine's love interest, because they keep bringing Tamlin up and he keeps showing up.
Yeah.
Like he's got to be
a
love interest.
I think even Nesta has the
Nesta talks to him.
But Nesta has the thought in this book as well, I'm pretty sure, that Elaine is more suited to spring than night.
Yes. Oh, everyone has that thought. Oh my god!
And then when they had the ball and she's in like night court dress and everything, they're like, that just makes her look sickly. She would look much better in spring. And it makes me sad that she doesn't use the gloves that Lucien got her.
Lucien deserves better.
I can't look. Actually, no, I can't blame Elaine because literally all she needs to say to him is like, "I'm actually pissed at Elaine."
It's been like a year and a half. Asriel. It's more an Asriel all over again. Like, just fucking tell him you don't want to be with him.
Like, it's been a year and a half at this point, Elaine. Like, you're not mooning over Grayson anymore. That's fine. It's done. You accept it. It's over. But can you at least just say to Lucien, look, I guess, like, you're a good guy. Maybe if we met under different circumstances, I don't know. But you, me, not going to happen. Go live your best life with Vasa and Jury and have fun.
Yeah, go have weird human threesome or something. Like, I'd be free. Be free.
It makes me sad. It makes me sad that she's, because she knows that he's just like, he keeps coming back for her, and she just she just won't reject him. Just reject him.
It's the same thing with Mor and Asriel.
It's cruel.
Just fucking reject him. Just tell him you don't like Peen and call it a day.
Yeah, or she doesn't even have to say, "Hey, I'm gay." She can just say, "Hey, Asriel, look, I value our friendship. You're a good buddy, but it's never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen." Yeah, like, it's been hundreds of years. I don't think it's happening. Oh God, whatever.
It's been 500 years.
It's ridiculous.
She hasn't told him the truth in 500 years.
I'd see if I were him, I'd be so over it and pissed off by that point. Because she's never acted like she reciprocated. Like, it would be different if she was like, you know, leaving little crumbs for him to follow, but she's not. She's openly fucking other people.
She openly
in front of him.
Like, the two of them are standing there, and Asriel's like, pick me, I love you. And she's like, hey, Cassian, do you want to bang? And he's like, okay, sure. And I want to know what happened, what really happened when Ares left her at the border.
Right.
I do too.
Because they constantly are like, Mor, you know what really happened. And it's like,
and
what happened?
And he even says as well, Mor knows what really happened. She just doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah.
And my guess is, I'm assuming, because it turns out he's he's conniving, he's whatever, but it turns out he's not an evil dick.
He's gonna he's got to get a girly at some point.
Yeah.
Get Eris a girly. 2020.
My theory, and I could be way wrong, I think that, because didn't she end up, like, wasn't she like gang raped or whatever, and then like left to die? Yeah. I think he saved her. I think he saved her and took her there knowing that, and he's like, who found her again? Was it Reese?
It was Asriel, I think.
He knew Asriel was coming then, and he was like, Asriel will be here in 10 minutes. I can't be here. He's going to kill me. I saved you. I'm leaving you here.
Yeah.
I think that something along those lines is what happened.
Yeah, I think so too, because we know Eris isn't a bad guy. Like, he's of the Autumn Court, so he's a little bit conniving, yes, of course, but
also I don't think he's saying she knows what really happened and Mor, you know what really happened that day. If something else didn't actually happen, I don't think those crumbs would be getting left.
Yeah. Which I don't think we're gonna get a Mor book, so I don't know how we're ever gonna find out.
Well, the crumbs were left in a not Mor book. Maybe
maybe one day. It's probably. I feel like any more reveals would happen in Asriel's.
Maybe.
It makes the most sense. Anyways, Nesta is chilling at the bottom of the library because she has to return a book there, and Bryaxis is still gone, living his best freaking life. We love that for him. But there's still something weird going on in the pit. She says it feels older than Bryaxis. I didn't write this down, and I should have. We get the closest thing to a prison roster because Cassian gives her the prison roster basically, and like who he put in the prison and stuff like that. Their sexual tension is top notch. I don't know. They literally just stared at each other and then they went off to separately take care of themselves to the thought of one another. And the next morning they act a fool. It's just cute. He tells her about the blood right and Illyrian rankings and how other than the 3 bat boys, there's only like one other that ranks as high as them power wise, because like the higher you get up the mountain, the higher power you're ranked as, and like they're the only 3 boys that ever actually made it to the tip and touched the bell at the top or whatever.
Well, no, they were the only 3 in their year, but 12 in total.
Yes, of all, yeah. Keep that in mind for later.
You know what? I was initially disappointed with how that turned out, but I'm actually kind of glad it turned out that way as well.
Yeah, like
it would have been too much.
I'm kind of glad that Nesta
the confrontation happened and then she ran up.
Yeah,
like, it would have been too much.
I'm kind of glad that Nesta didn't get it. But she gets the idea to train some of the library's people because they were also they were abused and taken advantage of, and they want to just make sure that they're self-aware, but they're very scared of men. So yeah. That will come back later. Elaine comes to visit. Nesta defense mechanism is mean to her, so Elaine leaves, but they did talk about Dad. She runs off, makes it to 1,000 steps.
Yeah. And the thing with Elaine, right? Like, I think this is the first time Nesta has been outwardly hostile to Elaine. Like
on page, yes.
I think even between the books, though, like not on page. I don't think she's outwardly hostile. She just
because she was like, no one cares what you have to say, Elaine. Like, just go back to your fucking garden, Elaine, or something like that. Or it was like, ugh.
But you know what though? I will hand it to Elaine though. She was like
she took it.
She actually, and it's like she appreciated. She's like, finally, someone's not treating me like a delicate little flower.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because she likes it. It's also because she laughs. Yeah, it's also she laughs about it, and she's like, "That's Nesta. There she is."
There's my sister.
Is so cute. Cassian talks about how he slaughtered everyone who ever touched his mother. He wins in a verbal fight, so she kisses him, and this is the first real sexual scene of the book. But they do like nothing. They go to the river house. They find out that the human queens are trying to find the cauldron, which therefore we have to do a major fetch quest to find 3 items that would be able to allow them to find the cauldron, even though the cauldron is safe with Drake and Miriam. It could never be found because their island is cloaked and yada, 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 yada. We still have to find these weird 3 items, and only Nesta can do it Nesta or Elaine, because they were capital M made. It's a lot.
There's a lot.
And Elaine's like, I'll track it. And Nesta's like, over my dead fucking body. Amron's like, well, if you're going to be like that, then you got to track it yourself. So Elaine's like, shut the fuck up. You can't have it both ways. I can't waste away in my garden, but also I can't be productive. Cool. Got it. And everyone's like, Elaine said words. Wow. And Nesta is like, Nesta literally says, you're finally interesting, which I think we can all agree that Nesta was right in that moment. She is right. Wow, you're finally interesting. Farrah reveals she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Everyone's so excited.
Yeah, so like I knew something was going on, right? Because like that shield,
she has like a barrier that's like this thick around her entire body.
Yeah, and the cover story was like, oh yeah, we're practicing like shield charms that Helion gave us, and like we can't get it off. Lol, whoops. And I'm also just like, there is no way that Rhys is just content to not be able to touch his mate for months.
Yeah, right.
For months. Because he's not mad about it. He's just like, lol, whoops, what a mistake.
And then Farrah tells Nesta that it's a boy. And she's like, I wanted you to know first. And it's fairly sweet. It's fairly sweet.
Which also, what'd you think of his name?
You like Nyx? Nyx is back, baby.
I am glad. Yeah, I am glad that they actually they do acknowledge that Nyx is a goddess.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I feel like it works for a boy though. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think he'll be
the
cute.
House of Night thing.
I think he'll be cute. Yeah, I know.
It's just the House of Night thing for me.
I think he'll be cute. I think he'll be far less annoying than the Nyx that we
than the real the other Nyx.
love.
Yeah. So Azrael and Cassian later talk about kids, and Cassian's like, I want like 1 to 7 children and nowhere in between, or yeah, something like that, and everywhere in between. So he goes to Nesta's room. Also, compared to even the rest of her books, every book that in her repertoire, this having this much boinking in it is like really out of left field.
Yeah,
it's very out of left field, which is fine. I love it. But
boinking happened in the original trilogy, right?
Yeah,
just not to never the same detail or
also never
frequency.
Precursors. Because it's your standard, romance novel buildup where you have like precursor, boink, and that happens. You'll see that again a few weeks from now, but I don't know. It feels also less weird in Crescent City. I don't know why, but it feels less weird.
Maybe because the tone of the series hadn't been set by a trilogy.
Yes.
Before it happens.
Yes.
And this was very different.
Bryce is also always from like page 1 a very sexual person. So like it's also not very out of left field when suddenly there's just like boinking happening all the time. But it felt very out of left field. It was her first full attempt first full foray into romance too. Yeah, it's a smut, which is fun. But yes, Bat Boy sandwich. That's when this happens. She thinks about the Bat Boy sandwich. At work, she talks to Gwen about training. She makes it to step 2000. A few days later, Cassian is summoned to the library and is like, Nesta won't stop training. Will you please do something about this? So she purposefully trains bad. So all of the ladies in the library will see how he trains with her and how professional he is and all of that. And then Gwen signs up for training. Yeah. And Gwen signs up for training. So exciting. Part 2, Blade. Gwen comes to training. Nesta goes to Emery's shop. Emery's cousin is being a butt face. We'll see him again later.
He's like, give me the store. I want the store. You're just a female. How absolutely
and Nesta, and Nesta's like, get out. Okay, bye. They eat lunch. She offers Emery to join training. Emery declines. Later, Cassie's brooding.
I understand also why Emery declines. She's like, I live in
Illyria. You live in Valaris. I can't.
And fly. I don't know how far apart they are, but they're not. It's not a walk down the road.
No,
you have to fly or winnow.
Yeah, and winnowing. Let me see. It's pretty far. I know that. Prithian.
Is it on the map?
Yeah, Illyria is on the the Illyrian mountains or the Illyrian steppes. It's on the other side. It's like far.
Let me. Oh wow, it is.
It's like really far.
Okay, and also let's put into context as well that when you look at the map and you see how close Feyre's village is to the wall, that's a 2-day walk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is a lot further.
Yeah. Night Court is still just absolutely insanely large. Anyways,
it's it's because it's Scotland.
Yeah, it's. Oh well, one day they will rule instead. I don't know. It feels like it's gearing up towards Rhys and Farah one day being the High King and Queen of Prithian. It feels like that's where the series is going to end up going, which is fine.
I'm not against it, especially because he doesn't want that.
No, they don't want it.
If they wanted it, it would be scary. Because you don't ever want someone in power that wants the power.
Yeah. Yeah. They mention that a lot, this book, of like,
hi king, Reese, hi queen, wink wink.
Reese, you should do it. And he's like, I really don't want to. Like, please stop. I'm just trying to make sure my wife doesn't die, and therefore I don't die, because remember, we have a death pact.
No one knows that
magical
yet,
death. Yes, but they have a magical death pact.
I also love Adwin's just like, how could you two be so stupid?
I know. And it's like, because you didn't choose it. It's not like Blackwoods where you don't choose your magical death bond.
You know what, though? I'm not going to lie. I get it. I told my husband multiple times, he's not allowed to die before me. And he's like, well, you're not allowed to die before me. So we've decided we're going to notebook it where we just go to sleep one night and die.
Yeah. Yeah. I've also...
Like they just die, like at the end of Notebook, they just die cuddling. And I'm like, yeah, that seems like... That seems like the best way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
So I'm not mad at them for the death pact.
No, but it's also the fact
I know why everyone else is though.
Yeah, because it's like, you idiots. Anyways,
yeah.
Later, Cassian is brooding over how much he hates Eris, for some reason, and she's bothered by his brooding. So
wait, who's brooding?
Cassian. And again, all romance novel protagonists, for some reason, their penises are about this big around or bigger, and that's terrifying. The cursor of it is the fingers can't touch, and I'm like, that's scary.
Yeah, no, like, look, even if they're barely touching, like, that's
quite a bit.
That's still. Did I send you, or did you guys see the video of like the chick with the measuring tape?
Yes, I've seen that one.
Yes.
She's right.
Yes, it's scary. They're about to like straight up boink on the dining room table when Azriel, Stealth Master 5000 starts going like down the hallway stomping, because he's like, can y'all please, I eat on this table, stop. Poor thing. God, poor Azriel.
Yeah, and like he has been tasked with chaperoning them.
Yeah, he's supposed to be making sure they're not doing this kind of thing, and he's doing a really bad job.
I don't actually know why.
I don't know.
Yeah, why are they being chaperoned again?
For the lulz, for moments like this.
Is it so Azriel can watch? Like,
no, I think it's genuinely for moments like this.
I'm wondering though, like, was Azriel told he had to do this, or was he like, look?
Well, he lives at the House of Wind.
Okay, because if he took it upon himself though to be like the chaperone thing, I can actually understand why. If he was tasked, I don't. And the reason why I can understand if he chose is because he's like, look, Cassian obviously has massive, not just massive feels, but massive lust, etc. for Nesta. And he's like, look, on the feels thing, she's broken. Yeah. She's a broken doll. She's going to hurt him. I need to try and protect him. But then also, she's broken. And
she doesn't need to be getting into a relationship.
The sex thing between them isn't good until she's a person again instead of a broken doll. Yeah. So I can see why he would be like, I watch everything, I see everything, I know everything except for what he doesn't know because he's polite and doesn't pry. I think we might have discussed this last book as well, like that for a spy is a really bad spy because he doesn't know because he didn't know that Maul was gay, for example.
The woman he's in love with is gay, yes.
But I think it's explicitly said in this book, he doesn't pry into his friends because that's rude.
Yeah, because I mean that is rude. I wouldn't want my spy friend knowing all of things about me because they're spy.
Yeah, and I think that's it though as well. Like they always say as well, like how busy this guy is, but he sure as hell does have a lot of time to just sit around.
Yeah, right. So but also like
busy.
You're hurting my sunburn by making it itchy on me. Emery joins training where the ladies bond over the fact that they all love to read smut, which Welcome.
And then the house
Welcome
joins
to
in.
Book Club with Bay.
And then we don't have a magical house being like, here are my...
We need a magical house.
Because the house gives Nesta
Gives them
smut
smut.
recommendations.
Yeah. They trade smut. It's the best. Nesta makes it to 3,000 steps. 3 more priestesses from the library join training. Nesta is going to try scrying for the trove. That's what it's called, the 3 items. But she can't do it. Nesta has a nightmare, wakes up Cassian. She is coated in silver flames. La 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 la.
Yeah.
Reese says he went go into her mind to help draw her out, but he saw the inside of the cauldron and it was terrifying, and her power is pure death, which we really never fully learn what Nesta's powers are, but that's fine because they're gone.
But I do like that Reese has
gone.
to see inside of her brain to
Yes.
be like, oh, wow. I guess
that's
being
fucked.
inside
Okay.
the cauldron would be like traumatic or something.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Reese. Welcome to the fucking...
What
this
was
is
her,
also
was Elaine screaming in agony? Not clue enough,
right?
That
and her like catatonic state for months after the. I know she said it was about Grayson, but like.
Yeah, Reese like comes out of there and he's like, "Oh wow, the inside of like the thing that created the entire Earth, like being inside there might change a person." Like yeah, like Amren's entire shtick and like I don't know, just throwing that out there.
Well, his point of view is probably the fact that stop it, that Amren saw the inside of the cauldron and was fine, but also Amren is like a million really years old.
But is Amren also is Amren
She is, but also she's a million years old. I mean, she is. She is fine. She has a boyfriend. She's happy.
But everybody also describes Amren as a ticking time bomb that you have to like. That like she will just explode and kill everybody if
well, that's
like,
before. That was before. That comes from what she is.
Yeah, I know, but like
that was before she went into the cauldron.
You know what though, I am glad that she is the core of who she is still her, but she's like not quite so.
But she complains about pain now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's more human now. Like there are more traits, right? Like I think before, when like with her boyfriend, I think before she became just pure fae or whatever, she was like, well, this is an enjoyable dalliance, I suppose. But
yes.
now she's like, I think I actually kind of have the feels here. So she's still her, but she's more personable.
Yeah.
But still her, which I appreciate that she's still her.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I could have coped if she was just had complete personality transplant.
Could you imagine if she like became Elaine? Terrifying.
One Elaine is enough.
Yeah, right. It's like we have enough of that. So Reese reveals about the baby having wings. Cassian tells Nesta the real risks of birthing a winged baby.
And she's like, shouldn't we tell Farah?
Yeah, and Cassian's like, it's not my fucking business. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not my business. And that's also kind of fair. You want to give Reese every opportunity first.
You know what though? To an extent, it's not his business, but then they also make out like that's my high lady. I must protect her with my life. Except for when she is actually definitely going to die, then she doesn't deserve to know.
I will also say there's nothing they can do about it. So maybe figuring out a solution first.
Hand to fucking God. If you guys know I'm gonna die and he doesn't tell me,
I'm telling you, you're gonna die. Okay, baby, I love you.
Until we find a solution. Do not go find a solution first. You tell me. I don't care. Tell me.
Because also, because also, I feel like also if I'm going to die, right? If I'm inevitably going to die,
tell me.
Yeah. I think I want to know because like, what if like I'm like about to go into like, what if I'm in labor? Like someone calls me and I'm like, fuck off, I hate you, type thing, because I'm actually in pain, but they don't know that.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I ever say to this person is, fuck off, I hate you.
That's fair.
Whereas if I know I'm about to die, I can be like, look, I really want to yell at you right now because I feel like I hate you, but I don't actually hate you. I love you, but I'm about to die. Bye.
Yeah.
Or something like, I feel like she deserves a chance to do her bucket
Also,
list.
there's a lot of things that you might do differently if you know that you only have like 2 months to live versus like you're gonna have your entire life to raise your kid, or like maybe she would want to do it differently, or maybe whatever. Like there's a lots of different choices that she might want to make. Like you can't just not tell her.
I'm trying to defend their point of view here.
I know, but their point of view is wrong.
Not Reese's. I'm saying like Cassian. I'm like,
look, Cassian is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I get that because he's not just his loyalty in terms of like his position in the court, but his friendship loyalty is more to Reese than to...
Well, yeah, they've known each other for 500 years. I'm sorry, if you've known me for 500 years and you choose someone that you've known for like 2, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah, but like
unless you're wrong.
But if I've known you for 500 years and you do something absolutely so fucking whack as to like, I don't know, not tell your pregnant wife that her pelvis is going to crack into 2 and then split her apart and kill her
and her baby.
No, this is not Twilight, but like
and
close.
Me.
Then I don't know. Also, maybe I'm gonna smack you and tell your pregnant wife that she's about to die.
But also, like I also kind of want to understand the narrative point of all of this.
What?
Like, I guess it's like that TikTok, Mara, you're talking about, where it's like the next ACOTAR is going to deal with the consequences of the fact that Farrah and Nick should be dead. And I guess maybe there's some grander plan, but
because
in reality, all 3 of them should be dead.
Yeah, it didn't occur to me as well that Farrah actually would be cursed. But yeah, I actually went after I saw that. I went back and read, and yeah, Bree said that there is a state price to pay if any of the High Lords attacks any of the others, and that is that price is usually death.
Yeah.
And Farrah attacked what's his face? Yeah.
Yeah.
During that meeting, and she's High Lady. She's acting as a High Lord.
Yeah.
Like with the power of a High Lord, so was literally meant to die.
Yeah. So I guess maybe it's that playing out. Because, like, also the explanation that the baby has wings because she, like, shapeshifted into having wings when they boinked is stupid. Stupid explanation.
Oh, look, I can accept it I can suspend my disbelief for that because, like, they're like, look, when she gives herself wings, she actually transforms herself into
her whole body.
Yeah, which I can suspend my disbelief for that because she just grew wings. So like, why not just her whole body?
That's fair. The whole thing is weird. The whole Farrah storyline in this book is weird. But
well, and here's the thing: like, even if it is for some, narratively speaking, as far as writing goes, even if it is for some grander plan or whatever, the individual book still has to work. Like, even if a Court of Silver Flames was the last like book in the ACOTAR series forever, that book still has to make sense. And narratively speaking, even if you're like, well, Reese is feral, it's like, okay, but what he's doing still doesn't make sense. And like, is nobody around him principled enough to knock him out with a frying pan for 5 minutes? Like,
well, to be fair, they all tell him he needs to tell her. To be fair, they all.
Nobody.
But also, he's their High Lord, and if he says you can't tell her, they have to obey that.
Yeah,
they are not werewolves.
There are ways around that though as well. There are ways around that as well. All they have to do is be like really, really intentionally, really, really weird around Farrah, and they'll be like, "I can't tell you. Reese told me not to."
Yeah,
she can say, as your High Lady, I command you to tell me.
Yeah, or go to her husband and be like, "Why are you being so fucking sketchy?"
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like,
they're fake. They're meant to be sneaky, and they're not. Yeah, they're not being sneaky.
For the book to stand on its own, I mean, I get that we're in different perspectives and stuff like that, but a lot of the court characters don't feel like herself, I would say. But a lot of them kind of stop feeling like themselves, mostly around the pregnancy plot. When we're
it's literally just the pregnancy plot. They feel fine without it. Yeah.
But they stop feeling like themselves around that. And if that's how that happened at work, then on its own, it's just not working. Whatever the long game is, that thread just doesn't land.
I think
I'm still interested to see what it is, though.
I'm still interested to see what it is, but like in this book, it just everybody's acting way out of character.
Yeah, it's just weird,
and it just makes it not enjoyable, and it's really frustrating to read.
Yeah, I think that's part of why Moore was actually away. Like, she wasn't just on page; she was away for most of this book. Because one, I don't think it had much to do with Moore this book, but two, I feel like Moore's character, she couldn't make Moore not be smacking Reese upside the head, following him around, and Feyre's standing right there, and she's still smacking him upside the head.
Yeah. Which that's the thing is if you have a character you know is going to do something, you just send them to another.
You have to just like send them away for the book.
Yeah, and that was the other thing too is like really if you wanted to center Cassian and Nesta, having Cassian like really challenge Reese in a meaningful way would have been something interesting for Cassian's character arc. That could have been something you could have done. It's just
I know, but one thing that this book has established is that look, Cassian might be like a general, right? Or the general. He might be like this big hulking beast of a man, but he is, how do I say this? He wears the dress in the relationship. He does not wear the pants. And I'm not gonna lie, I did not appreciate that fact at all. I did not appreciate it. Like you can't make like this general man be like, I will do whatever you want me to do. I will do it whenever you want me to do it.
He's still my favorite of the three. Like if I had to pick one for myself, I would pick Cassian.
I know, but whenever
definitely not Reese. Like, I'm not.
All she needed, right, from like chapter 2, all he had to do was be like, "Shut up, bitch! You're gonna do what I say, when I say it, how I say it," and she would have been like, "Okay, yes, Cassian, I will," and it all would have been done. The whole book wouldn't exist if he had just an ounce of testosterone when it came to her.
Yeah. Well. I mean,
and bitch is fair. It would have been fair to call her a bitch because she was being a bitch.
Yes.
To everyone.
Listen, I don't have a defense. I just love this book. That's my only defense.
And again, almost the entire romantic plot of this book would not have happened or would have happened at a much accelerated rate if they had just like actually communicated even once.
Oh yeah.
Before the last couple pages.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the frustrating things about being in both their heads, right? Because once they start blinking and everything, he always leaves.
Yeah.
And he's like, I really want to stay.
But she never tells me.
He hasn't asked me to.
Yes.
And she's like, I really want him to stay, but he never attempts or asks to stay. And I'm like, if one of you two would just fucking speak. Just speak.
Yeah.
Just words. Or if she doesn't want to use her words, because I can understand that sometimes like you want to say the words, but
you just grab.
You just hold onto him. Like he starts to roll and you're like, no. And then, you just fling a leg and an arm over him.
Yeah.
And do a head
and then you're done.
Like that's it.
It's so easy. Whatever. They're both stubborn sons of bitches. So
I'm terrified of their children.
So Cassian and Reese have a little physical fight about the whole telling Pharaoh thing. And
which he's fucking finally. Like Cassian actually did have a little bit of a backbone there. He's like, she's not that bad.
Yeah. Then
does anyone else know that they're mates yet? I know that they don't. Oh well, I think he does, but they don't.
I think he does. I assume that everyone's like. I assume everyone knows.
Are we not?
You can smell the mating bond, right?
Yeah, you can smell it.
Maybe that's why Azriel's there, because he's like, I need to make sure that they don't do a thing until they are actually aware of what they are.
Yeah, maybe. And then that doesn't work at all. So it's time to scry. But first Cassian's like, why haven't you like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, sought me out? And she's like, after you're pretty again, we will boink on every surface of this house. And he's like, gotcha. So she tries scrying, and she gets so stuck that Cassian has to make out with her in front of everyone. And everyone's just like,
this is awkward.
Can we leave? But she found it. She found the mask.
Oh,
the first part of the trove. Yes.
Yeah. One of the things that the house did in relation to, because she was putting off scrying because she was terrified of scrying. Because last time she scried, Elaine got kidnapped by the cauldron.
Yes.
And the house every so often would just be like, here's some, what was it, bones?
Here's some bones and a cup and a map.
Yeah, like, here's your bones, do a scry. And she's like, no. And the house is like nudging them towards her. And she's like, no, thank you. And the house takes them away and then just pops them back every so often. It's like,
I love the house.
The house is like her inner monologue of like, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, thank you. And it makes sense again because, like, we find out later she made the house.
Yeah, she is the house's mummy.
Because the house could, like, they'd sit down at the table and they'd be like, I want some bacon and eggs, please, and bacon and eggs would appear. But then that was the extent of the house's magic before then. But then she goes there and now the house is like, hey, friend, do you want to be friends? And she's like,
yeah,
no.
She's like, you're a house. But they're friends. It's fine. So they go to the bog to find the mask, which can raise the dead. Eris's quote unquote lost soldiers are there. Cassian and Azrael fight them. Nesta goes to hide in a tree. Then she decides to, like Farah would, let's be honest, just go get the mask. They're so much more alike than they want to admit.
Well,
she almost dies.
They also look alike. Like they,
yeah.
But it's described though that she feels like a magical pull or whatever.
She's also there for a really long time and thinks that Cassian and Azrael died. So there is also that.
Well, because it gets like really quiet and like how it's described when what she says when it's done, and I think how it's described in prose is that like she starts getting this anxiety, and I think the anxiety is induced by like the magic, like trying to pull her out of the tree and pull her towards the mask. Yeah. So the magic makes her freak out and go do a too dumb to live.
Yeah.
So it's not just her being too dumb to live.
Yeah,
but
it's like it's like Pharaoh with the thingy in the first Calamine.
Yeah, like her going. Her. Yeah.
But also, I think also maybe like the presence of Reese was also calling her, but the drums were calling her. She was being drawn. She didn't act consciously disregard the risk. She was magicked into going.
So the mask raises the dead. She almost dies, puts the mask on, and there's a lot of fan art of this scene, and it's very cool because Cassian and Azrael come up, and she's just rising from this fucking water with an army of the dead at her back, and it's like, and they bow.
She kills
to death herself. Yeah, like whatever.
The scene, honestly, the actual scene goes on. It's 2 hours in the audiobook, by the way.
Is it really?
It's 2 hours. I skipped it because I read it recently. I skipped it because I was like, I know what happens. She kills the Kelpie. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's 2 hours. 2 hours.
That's insane.
I will say it didn't feel like 2
really
hours.
30 minutes.
Yes.
One of the one of the sex scenes is like over an hour long. I'm pretty sure, like the grab the headboard one.
Yeah,
there's a dude. There's a famous musical artist that wrote a fucking song based on Cassian and Nesta. By the way, that should just be known to all. And then he added a verse about like all the major romance novels on Book Talk, and Haunting Adeline gets a shout out. Anyways, so they're gonna now hide the mask with the rest of the weird objects they own in the Court of Nightmares. They need Helion to break the spell on them that tracks the cauldron so no one can find it again. But they also need him to ward it away. So time to call him. But later, Cassian brings her food when she's in a tub. She's like, just boink. And he's like, sad shore. He's like, whatever you want, however I can have you, I'm taking it. So it's
that's 50%
what I mean. Of the way through the book.
That's part of that actually just made a word that I was trying to think of before. He's got no dignity when it comes to her, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, where he's like, listen, if you just want to
he will accept whatever scraps she gives him. And I'm like, dude, no, like I just wish he had an ounce of dignity when it came to Nesta. Because also when he doesn't speak, it's because he thinks that she doesn't want to speak. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, and because he immediately yeets after immediately, and she's like, what? And he's like, just sex, right? And she was like, yeah, just sex. And then to herself, she's like, but I wanted a cuddle. Like something. More priestesses joined, but our girl group is like, oh my God, you blanked Cassian. And she's like, I hate all of you.
And he can hear all of it.
Yes. They're talking about doing Valkyrie training. She reaches step 6,000. There's so many people training now that Cassian's like, we need more teachers. So Azriel joins the group. Cassian takes Nesta to a blacksmith to teach her how a blade is made. Nesta is now a certified badass. Helian's here. Hi, Lucian's dad.
Also, some of Nesta, because Nesta's got a lot of trauma she's working through this book as well.
Yeah, Nesta scares the blacksmith, by the way.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and one of the things she has trauma over is she can't bear the sound of crackling fire because it sounds like her father's snapping.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes him way too long to realize it. Like, he sees her actively be terrified.
It takes him to like 75% of the way through the book. Yeah.
And then when she tells him, he's like,
oh, I'm so stupid.
Maybe I should have noticed all the times that she shied away from fire before I lit a fire right next to her last night when we were camping.
Yeah. Listen, men, what can I say?
Yeah.
That's an actual, like, very real man thing sometimes. They're kind of oblivious. Christian, don't listen to me. So we learn that the Autumn Court soldiers that the Bat Boys fought were enchanted and mentally taken over by the human queens. They have the crown that can control people's minds, which makes the harp the last of the trove out in the wild currently.
Yes.
He wards the mask.
Because the thing with the mask as well is usually whoever wears it, the only way to get it off them is for them to die. And Nesta just put it on and takes it off.
Because
Nesta was like,
calls to like.
And she was like, I just kind of asked it to go away, and it did.
Yeah.
And then it did.
Like calls to like.
And they were like,
So
yeah, like Reese really is an idiot, this book, right? Because, like, for example, we'll use the mask as an example, because they're all like, they see her, whoever was with, I can't remember who now, whoever was with her when she put it on, they were like, oh shit, no. And she's like, so good, bro. And they're all terrified by that concept. And yet Reese still actively treats her like shit. I'm like,
I know. When he also knows that by his words, her powers are pure death itself. Like, she's a death god. She's basically the bone carver.
And he is antagonizing someone.
I know.
That is, I think she was like who is like the most powerful person on the planet right now, as far as they know. Like, and not by a little bit, by a lot, by all of it. Like, she's like 80 Reese's times 1,000 right now, when she wants to be, if she wanted to be.
Yeah, but she doesn't know how to control.
Right now, yeah, and that's even worse.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
as we're about to find out, it's not good.
Let's do a Frozen analogy for a moment. Elsa's powers are at their most scary when she is scared of them and is trying to suppress them and hide them, because then they come out at emotional times. It's only when she embraces her powers and is like, love me, I love you, I'm gonna do the magic stuff, that she learns how to control them. Nesta is in the she's about to turn the entire planet into an ice age stage right now. She's Elsa at the beginning of the movie. And Reese is just like poking her the whole book.
I know, right? God.
And then it's like, I wonder if she's not getting better. And then they're like, I wonder why she's not getting better. It's so weird.
I mean, I guess I'm glad that at the end of the book, like, Reese is like worshipping the ground upon which she walks.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know, it's not even
I hope he gets over it. Hopefully it just gets to like a nice, comfortable balance.
I think that he will.
Hopefully.
It's not even that Reese needs to be nice to her, because like that's not really like the point, honestly.
No.
The better thing is that Nesta needed like her own friends, because it's not that Reese needed to like be nice to her, or that she even needed to be like, or even that she needed to be like accepted into their group. She needed a different group of people that actually liked her, because the group that she was being forced into hanging out with just hated her fucking guts and needed to leave her the hell alone. So that's, I think, more the issue.
Yeah, and one thing I did like was the symmetry of towards the beginning of the book. Nesta's like, oh, Feyre and her newfound family, rah rah rah, and then she's like, oh, I have a found family now. This is delightful.
All right.
And
so
the two found families are connected by a Cassian, but they're two separate things.
All of my favorite like books have found family tropes in them. I hate I hate it so much.
It depends. It depends on how it's framed. Like with
I hate it when they point it out. When they point it out, I'm like, all right, it's cringy, and y'all need to all stop.
Yeah, like there was this it was like some Wattpad thing. I stumbled upon it once, and then I just had to read all 89 chapters of it, and it was ridiculous and stupid. But they kept on referring to, like, because they had a found family, right? They kept referring it to themselves as, that's my village, they're my village, our village will. I'm like, can we stop saying villages? I'm done. I'm past it.
The nerd herd.
Army of Awesome as well. I don't know which. Nerd Herd is more cringy to me just because of who they are, but Army of Awesome is a worse name.
I mean, because found family is one of the best like tropes, I feel like, but it's, you know,
but it can get really cringy.
Yeah.
It can get so
especially
cringy.
when they give themselves a special name.
Well, see,
Valkyrie isn't a weird thing, but right, because they become like they do it.
That's an actual military
status. It's a title within the actual thing, you know.
Yeah, like that's a military status. Yeah. That's not it's not cringy to me in this series, except when Farrah shames people for finding their own, and she finding their own one, and then I get annoyed because I'm like, Then I'm like, I also don't like it when books market themselves of like, this is a found family. I'm like, every fucking book is a found family book. Don't market it. Any
book that has like a strong friend group.
It is a found family. Don't market it like that, because every book. Oh God, no! I went on this rant, I think, like 2 nights ago with Christian.
Because Mercy does that too. When you think about it, because when you think about it, it was like Adam adopted Ben, and like, you know, it's like you start doing all of that kind of stuff. I don't know. It just is like that because that's how strong friend groups work, I guess.
Exactly. It's so every book has it. It's just it can get cringy. Like a nerd herd.
Yeah, Nesta referring to Gwen and Emery as like the family that she like in comparison to that, I didn't find it too cringy in that.
No, and like when she's like, they're my sisters.
Like, well, Feyre got her peeps, I got my peeps.
Yeah,
we got our peeps now.
It's mostly just when Farrah. It's mostly when Farrah's shaving Lucian. That's really the point.
I know that pissed me off.
That made me so mad too.
Farrah.
Where is he meant to go?
I know.
He can't go home to Autumn because they all want to kill him.
Justice for Lucian.
Tamlin is a fucking mess. He can't go, and Tamlin also wants nothing to do with him.
Well, maybe Lucian should go get to know his dad, but that would mean he'd have to know that his dad is his dad.
Yeah.
Speaking of not telling people things we know.
Oh my God, who the fuck is gonna tell Lucian that he's the heir to the Dawn Court?
Maybe.
No, it is the Day Court, by the way.
It's the Day Court. Whatever. Who's gonna tell him?
I thought it was Dawn.
I thought it was Dawn. Helion. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Helion,
I'm never gonna know.
Here we go.
Helion, Shimmering High Fae. It doesn't fucking tell me anything.
Onyx, Muscular,
Day.
Great, good to know.
Day Court.
Who is Day? I guess
his title is Spell Cleaver. Yeah. Ooh. Air manipulation, light generation, curse breaking, and shape shifting. Ooh.
Yeah, Feyre gets a lot of her curse breaking power from him.
Yeah. I love I can't wait. I hope Lucian gets a book.
Yeah, like she had the title of Curse Breaker obviously before she got his power, but now she actually can still actively do that.
Now she is the Curse Breaker.
It's wrong how they treat Lucian. I don't like it.
This is why since book 1 I have been saying justice for Lucian, because Lucian did nothing wrong. He's just a guy. My gosh.
Look, he did do the wrong thing. Book 2, he fucked up a lot. He fucked up. I will not condone any criticism of Lucian from like the actual book Akatar, I won't stand for it. So a lot of people aren't happy with how he was under the mountain, and it's like he did what he could when he could.
Recently had so much freedom because of his station as Amarantha's whore. That's the only reason that Rhys could be there so often.
The reason why Lucian didn't come and heal Feyre, and that's when Rhys came in and they did their bargaining thingy, was because he was literally being tortured.
Yeah, I know. Justice for my boy. Anyways, okay, we're like halfway through. We're doing great.
Yeah, but book 2 Lucian criticism, I'm okay with because he was a spineless rag in book 2.
Okay, so later Cassian brings Nesta some war books, and she's like, was I bad? And he's like, what? So begin the sexathon. They have a sex marathon, and it's a lot. Cassian gets summoned to the river house. Lots. And Rhys is like, hey, the blacksmith sent these over. He's scared of them. What happened? And Nesta imbued them with her power. There are 3 blades.
She created a new
thing that has not been created in centuries.
So like the items that the magical items they're seeking this book it's the crown, the harp, and the mask. And what are they called again? I'm blanking.
The trove.
The trove. She created a new trove.
Yes, she created a new trove of blades.
Lady trove.
Yep. And it's been forever since weapons have been imbued with power. We learned that the last time this happens, it is a sword that has disappeared in time, and I have a theory about what sword that is. Do I? No, I don't, actually. That's been debunked. No, I just realized it was debunked, like, very recently. We figure out that Nesta, forged a new unknown trove. Amren and Rhys are like, let's not tell Nesta, and Cassian and Azrael are like, let's tell Nesta. Amren leaves, and we chat about Nyx's wings and how they can't find a way to birth him. Rhys is like, I can't tell her because I can't give her that fear. She's so happy I can't destroy her. Blah 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 blah. Amren's like, hey, what about being High King, my guy? And Rhys is like, seriously, stop this. We're like, if humans fight us,
I have a bad baby about to be born.
I'm about to be wifeless. I'm about to be dead. So, like, can we not right now? Amren thinks the great sword Nesta made is an omen that Rhys is meant to be High King. And I agree. I think it's gonna happen.
Because their land used to have a High King.
Yes.
And he became king with a trove, with the trove. And
they were like enchanted weapons. But he also had enchanted swords and things.
Yeah. And then shit happened and it got all divided into the courts.
Yeah.
But
Cass, or the Bat Boys, and Nesta see Eris, tell him about his soldiers. Eris is like super into Nesta. Tamlin shows up for some reason. Like, Tamlin just walks up and is in his beast form and is like, hi guys. And Nesta's like, you're a dick. And he's like, okay.
Have you guys seen Rhys's beast form? Because like,
it's terrifying.
I don't think we've ever discussed this.
It's terrifying.
Yeah,
it's he's huge. He's like a huge dog, black dog thing. It's very
wings.
Cool. Yeah. The rest of the gang is talking about Nesta's progress.
I feel like his beast form is what the Court of Nightmares is made of.
Right. Well, it's the statues. They're statues of him, like in beast form down there.
Yeah, like I mean, obviously, like the beast form picture that's been going around. Obviously, like that's a fan interpretation or whatever of it. But that's not how I pictured it in my head. But then when I compared, I'm like, no, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But okay. Much more scary than Tamlin Bates form.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we learned that Nesta was a very accomplished dancer back in the day. Cassian is very into her. It's fine. Cass tells Nesta about the blade she enchanted. She learns that Amren voted against her and rages down all 10,000 steps to bitch her out. They have a come to Jesus meeting. And we found out she's mad at Amren because she listened to Farah when Farah said they should train again, and that made Nesta angry. Because she didn't like Farah. So yeah, because Amren said Farah said we should train again. Nesta got mad at her and said, "You're choosing my sister over me." That was the source of the fight. Farah comes in. Yeah. Nesta is like, "Your own mate doesn't respect you." Amren is like, "Don't say this right now. You're not saying it out of kindness. You are about to ruin someone's life." So she tells her that you are going to die soon.
And everyone knows. Everyone except you knows.
Yes, everyone except you knows. Cassian flies her to Aurelia because Reese, Farrell, whatever. Time for the days-long hike.
Yeah, like
Nesta having a crisis.
This is the thing that actually really made me like, because everything else about Reese, aside from the not telling Farah thing, right? Up until this, I'm like, okay, personality clashes. Like him and Nesta don't get along. Obviously, like when we're in her head versus when we're in Farah's head and viewing Reese through her eyes and stuff, like we're going to be on team whoever perspective is more flattering, right? His reaction here though, he mind links to Cassian. He's like, "You get her out of here before I find her and
kill her." Which,
and I'm like, that is, and I will say, like Farah's response to this, I think is on point. She was just like, "Well, that was an overreaction. I would like my sister back, please. How absolutely dare you threaten to kill my sister?"
Oh yeah, Farah's like, Farah's like, I know that she did it out of like, she didn't do it out of niceness. Like she did it because she was ticked off, but she also was the only one that told me. So thanks. Yeah.
How absolutely dare you keep this from me, and how absolutely dare you behave like this? Fuck you. Bring my sister back. And I appreciate that.
But Cassian is still like, no.
They stay out there for a while though.
Nesta and I are gonna go on a week-long
hiking trip.
So they,
which she needed. She needed it. Because she finally actually has her come to Jesus moment at the end of it.
She has her big long rant about how she's like, I don't deserve to be happy because I let my dad die.
And I hated him my whole life. I hated him up until the moment he died. Rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
And look, even though her dad coming back and doing the right thing at the end and everything
doesn't mean he did the right thing.
Look, it's the cause of a lot of her turmoil in this book, sure.
Yeah.
But I am glad that he died doing that as opposed to dying in some other way.
Yes.
Because I feel like the damage that an unresolved death would have brought her, I don't think she could have become the person who she is at the end of this book without him doing that.
Yeah.
Because she would have said, my dad was a coward. He died. He lived as a coward. He dies as a coward. Men are stupid.
Yeah.
Type thing.
But instead, he lived as a coward and died as a hero.
Yeah.
But Cassian makes her feel all better, and then they have off screen basically a week-long fuck-a-thon and sword training, and she comes back and she is just a badass with a sword. And Emery and Gwen are like, "You smell like horrible, but also you're really good at sword training now." They also find out the final test to become a Valkyrie is to cut a ribbon, which sounds simple, but it's not. Apparently there's a really kinky sex scene that happens.
Yeah,
right here.
So the ribbon cutting thing, I can see how hard that would be because it's just a ribbon dangling.
Yeah.
Like there's no tension in the ribbon.
It. Yeah.
And you have to just have to be quick and fast and sharp enough to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever.
No. Nesta admits to Gwen that she's very glad that Farah made her do this. Because she's happy with her life now. She goes to listen to the priestess sing, gets a vision of where the harp is. It is under the prison. Reese gives Cassian one of Nesta's weapons, and they are gonna go to the prison, my favorite place.
Yay!
So they go to the prison to get the harp. She touches the harp, and Braylon, the human queen, talks to her through it and now knows her name. She almost tells Cassian she loves him when his arch nemesis from the prison's door opens. Nesta names her sword Ataraxia. She draws her sword on him, and he asks her which death god she is, and he's very terrified of her blade. He mentions the Wild Hunt. I wrote it down because I think I remember it from Throne of Glass. That's why I wrote it down, but I don't actually remember. He realizes she is the Cauldron and tries to seduce her, but she kills him. They make it back using the harp because the harp can teleport. They tell Rhys and Farah what happened. We learn about the one and only High King that ever existed. The Wild Hunt was their big enemy way back when. Amren was alive during this time, and the High King's people were the ones that locked her up. Rhys is like, hey, we're going to have a party. We shift gears. We're going to have a ball. Nesta, we need you to, like, not seduce Eris for real, but we need you to, like, seduce Eris with your dancing skills.
Yeah, we need you to make him want you.
Yeah.
I can't remember why. Why does he have to... Oh, I think solidify.
They're trying to show him that they trust him. Yeah, solidify their alliance by like allowing him to dance.
This is what you could have.
A high lady's sister. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is rude because it's a lie because he could never have Nesta and they all know it.
He tries real hard, but a month passes. Her and Cassian are just going at it like rabbits. Gwyn gets Nesta and Emery Solstice present. And the book that or the gift that Gwyn gives them is the Valkyrie book that they read like forever ago has a chapter about them in it, and it's really sweet. She figures the house is present to her is showing Nesta its soul, and it's Braxis's pit, which again, Braxis living his best life. I wonder when because like he's got to come back eventually, right? Like someone's got to be like Braxis. It's time.
Well, he has to, right? Because they had a bargain.
It's a bargain. Right? She still has the fucking tattoos on her back.
Yeah, so there's a bargain about how he's gonna he's gonna be given friends or a friend or whatever in whatever capacity, plus also a window for him. Well, now I don't think it ever explicitly is worded that he has to return to the pit.
No, but
however,
Farah can use the bargain to draw him back.
Yeah.
Or they can hunt him
and
down.
I just feel like as well, like because he's like an old being, much like Amren was and everything like that and all that. And the bone carver and the weaver, he's an old being like them. And they're just, and he's he's a literal nightmare. Yeah. And they're just like, none of them are looking for him.
It's been like a year since he was released. By the end of this book, it's been almost 2 years since he was released.
I'm sure he's
fine. Because we've had 2 solstices.
But like at the same time, who's he murdering?
Maybe he's with Tamlin. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that would be the best broship ever. Give me that fanfic of them being best friends.
Maybe that's who he's like hanging out with.
Where is Abraxas? Like, let's just let's see. He's not in the cavernous pit in the library of the
Yeah, that's wait, Bryaxis theories. Okay.
And all the theories are like, I hope he's just out there making friends. Seeing the stars, living his best life. I hope he's happy. I hope he's happy too. Don't get me wrong. But also, it is a problem.
Oh, what a weird... All this time, I thought Bryaxis was a female. I know they're a shadow and probably have no gender, but I've always pictured them as feminine.
Huh. I always
pictured it. Same. I was here to comment that.
I think that...
In my head, he's a boy.
He has a gender.
I'm pretty sure, like someone else says, I swear to God, they refer to it as a he.
Yeah, they do.
Or talk about a deep voice, or even mention a male form.
Yeah.
But I think... I just imagine him like, I don't know. I imagine it as like, the frocks in.
Oh, wait, what?
Terrifying.
I imagine it like that a little bit, like
where they're just He's just creeping in the depths, chilling.
Like just kind, but like that mixed with, a Saint Bernard. If you can imagine those two in a blender.
hang on. We gotta send Mara. We gotta show Mara what a frox is.
Okay. While you do that,
I imagine
there are a lot of theories about.
But like the size of the frox, and then him hanging out with Tamlin in the spring court.
Well, you know how Maul went to her estate where there's the horses and stuff?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She sees a strange shadow there, and there are theories that that shadow was Bryaxis, and he's just chilling out at Maul's estate.
Dude, I would like a Bryaxis book. Can we get Bryaxis a love interest?
What the fuck is that?
It's called a Frox.
It's called a Frox.
They're actually really fun to beat.
Have you done it?
Yeah.
How?
It's like a stone talus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You just have to hit die and then it flaps down.
Okay.
Anyways.
I see what you mean though. That crossed with the Saint Bernard would be the creature going, "Can I please just have a window and a friend?"
Mm-hmm. I got a picture of it for the gallery thing at Tarrytown.
Oh yeah, that's so fun. That's a fun little quest.
Yeah, it's a great quest. But the last Hydra thing, that's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Did I send you guys? I'm pretty sure it was a TikTok of like a screenshot of a Reddit post where it's like Reese is posting on Reddit. And it was like, how do I tell my girlfriend that I don't want to keep getting paintings?
Yes.
I mean, they're beautiful, but she just keeps giving them to everyone.
Yes. Also, I did send the Elaine and Tamlin endgame theory for when we're done, and because you need to read the thing because
you can read it now.
I did have a browse.
So okay, we're almost done actually.
Anyway,
guys.
yeah,
it doesn't feel like it, but we are.
Yeah, the last act happens like
it was so fast.
The ball is tonight. Being a marathon last time, but like I remember this ball happening like in the first act.
I know.
When I first started.
All of this. I mean, because like Farrah giving birth, it happens at like 94%. And I'm like, I thought that was like a whole thing. No. There's this meme that's like the last 100 pages of every Sarah J. Maas book is just a fucking roller coaster ride. And I'm like, yeah, that is true. The last 100 pages are insane every time.
Yeah. When I started seeing them, like, yeah, you get to the last 100 pages of a Sarah J. Maas book. And I thought back and I was like,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, aside from
Frost and Starlight.
Yeah, Frost and Starlight.
Yeah, because that was a nothing burger.
Yeah. Yeah, all of them. Literally all of them.
Yeah. And it's that trend for, I know Crescent City and I know the later Throne of Glass books as well. So balls tonight. Farrah shows everyone at the ball that she's a Pergonant. Good for her. They give Eris one of Nesta's enchanted blades as like a present, you know. Nesta dances with Eris to death. Basically, he's smitten. Cassian growls and is like, "Can I come in?" Cut in. Eris is talking to Reese and Farrah later, and he's like, "So, what do I have to give you to marry Nesta?" And they're like, "You what?" Anyways, it's solstice, and Elaine and Nesta officially make up. It is good. Cassian in private gives Nesta his gift, and it is the song that they dance to at the ball, like on a little like music box essentially, and it is the cutest fucking thing ever.
Because I don't think we found this out in Frost and Starlight. If we did, I forget. But his present that he was going to give her.
No, we find out this book. Yeah.
The one that he was going to give her last solstice, but then she was mean, so he threw it in the friggin' river. It was like one of the oldest books ever, and it was like this little tiny miniature book that was like this big. And he's like, because I know she loves to read. Yeah. And he had been he searched for it for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And it cost an arm and a leg, and then he just threw it in the river and immediately went, shouldn't have done that.
Yep. Nesta picks a fight with him because it's defense mechanism, commitment issues, all that. Cassian is like, I'm jealous of Eris. And she's like, Eris is all I deserve. I don't deserve you. And this is the big, they're finally kind of together because they do have another big fight before they're fully together, but they're now together. Next morning, she finds out about the snowball fight. The annual.
That's funny because like they have like a night-long fuck session, right? Like he hasn't slept, and then he like sees the sun rising.
Like, shit, I gotta go.
And he's like speed getting dressed, and she's like, what is going on? He's like, snowball fight, gotta go.
Yeets. He's gone for a few days because he has human queen stuff to do. So girls' night, it's really cute. All the girls are like,
they make a unicorn.
Yeah, they make like unicorns. They're taking out a bubble bath because they're fully clothed in a library, but they have bubbles everywhere, and they're just reading smut together.
Yeah, because they're doing something right, and Nesta's like, why don't we just ask the house to do it? And they're like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
she's like, oh, the house makes me presents when I ask, and they're like, what?
So
and
bubble bath in the library.
My buddy, so unicorn.
They literally make friendship bracelets. It is very sweet. Cassian gets back a few days later, like, wait, what happened? Are you okay?
Don't you dare skip over this friendship bracelet thing. I can't remember who. One of them. It
was Gwen, it was Emery.
Yeah, Emery. It's like, oh, it's a custom thing amongst my peeps where you make these bracelets, and then with the charms you like make a wish for each other. And then Nesta's like, I want to make the wish for all of us. So she takes all 3 medallions and she goes, I wish that when we have the strength to go out in the world, we will always have the ability to find each other, or something to that extent.
Yes. And
which is important. It is a major plot point.
Yes. I knew someone would get it, so I didn't write down. She I think she literally tells, I think, because I normally say when I'm being sarcastic in my notes, I think that Nesta tells Cassian she loves him. Girls all break the ribbons. Cassian and Azriel make them an insane obstacle course that Valkyries used to use. They can't do it, but then they do, and they learn that was the blood right qualifier if they wish to do the blood right. She makes it down the stairs again. Starfall is tonight.
I just had a call right. I didn't recognize the number, so that's why I was like, I'll be back in a second. Didn't think, because I'm like, I don't know who it is. Yeah, it was a scam call, and it was just like one of those automated voices, like, Australia Immigration needs to speak to you about your visa. I'm like, I was born here.
I am a citizen. Her and Amron make up. We are now 2 months away from giving birth, so the whole book has been about 7 months long so far, because Fae pregnancies are longer than human pregnancies. They meet with Eris, and apparently Baron's acting sus. Yeah, only a month longer. He's acting sus. She formally turns down his proposal. Nesta reveals she's afraid of commitment and afraid of coming back to the real world. Cassian says, "Oh God,
sorry,
this is the last fight."
Sentence.
No.
Okay, well, before we get into the last fight, then, Nesta, like, because you know what we'll talk about last book, where like Pharaoh was like, "Oh, Fae periods are awful. Rah rah rah. I never ever want to have to experience that." Nesta, on the other hand, is like, "Fuck yes, 2 a year, done, happy."
Yes. She's like, "I love it." Yeah.
I don't know. I don't look when you phrase it like that. Also, maybe Feyre's just, you know how like sometimes it's worse for some than others.
Yeah.
Maybe Feyre just had an exceptionally bad one.
Yeah, maybe Ferris just has worse.
Because also at the beginning of this book, when she first goes to the Illyrian village thing.
Yeah.
The like their initial training thing. What's his face? He's like, if you're bleeding, you can't touch any of the weapons. If all Fae periods are that bad, she's not standing there training.
Yeah, they're not training
in labor.
Yep.
So either Feyre is just an extra big sook, or hers is exceptionally bad. I feel like based on that, or Sarah just forgot that bit when she wrote that scene.
Maybe. There's one thing I think in Crescent City that I'm like, this is like an actual continuity error that she forgot. Oh yeah, no, it has to do with someone saying I love you to someone else, and like the next book they're like, I've never said I love you to anyone before, and I was like, you said it last book. I have the evidence. I have the receipts. You said it. Like you see, like it's like fancy where it's like I said those words that I hadn't dared to utter aloud, and it's like we all know what that means. We all know that means I love you. Whatever. I'll get angry about that when it's time. Cassian says that he's shackled to her, and they have the "you're my mate" conversation. And she's like, "I'm calling my favorite. Don't talk to me for a week." And she has the "you're my mate" anger grr. And then literally just like Farah, like a day and a half later, is like, you know what? I'm not mad anymore. And then gets kidnapped. Welcome to the last 100 pages of the book.
You know what though? With Nesta, I understand it more because Nesta still has a lot of self-loathing she needs to overcome, and she doesn't feel like she does it. Why are they calling me again?
I don't know, man. Your visa's really messed up.
Okay, I don't have a visa.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's why your visa's messed up because you don't have one. Part 4, ataraxia. They have to let the girls do the right, otherwise they will be killed. So Reese and Farah finally tell everyone about the you die, I die bargain. We also hear that Eris has been kidnapped by Braylon. God, there's so much happens right here. And we're like jumping back and forth between Cassian and Nesta, so this is going to get a little whiplashy. With Nesta, the friendship bracelets are beacons for them because they were made by Nesta. She finds Emery, hides in a cave with a guy who's smart enough not to kill his High Lady's sister.
And one thing I like about the bracelets as well is it's like they let you know which one's in more danger.
Yes.
She's holding the bracelet out, right? And it points to one, and it's like, look, I'm here. I'm good. The other one is like, I'm here and I need help.
Yeah, because Emery was like, I'm here and I need help. And Gwen was like, I'm chill. You go help Emery. Also, I forgot to mention this. Emery seems to have a crush on Moore, and Moore seems to have a crush on Emery. Like, I forgot to put that in my notes somewhere, but they have tension.
And Gwen has been flirting.
And Gwen and Azriel are like a thing.
Because when she cuts the ribbon, because like he's like, you're never going to cut the ribbon. And she's like, watch me. And then she does. And yeah, that happens. And then friggin' what was it again? Oh, and then when she does it, she's like, you're my next challenge. And it's in like a flirty way.
Well, and also in the bonus scene, they like go chat at the end of it. So yeah, and the next book is definitely going to be
the one
him.
that helps her cut the ribbon.
Yeah, like it's the next book's definitely him, and it's going to be a love triangle.
Corrects her technique.
Or like a love quadrilateral.
Because she also cuts the ribbon that's the day she actually does cut the ribbon in the book as well. After he corrects her spinning.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so the three girls get reunited. Meanwhile, Cassian and Azriel are waiting for an opening to rescue Eris. They finally see him and think he's playing along.
Also, Emery's really wounded at this point as well, and they don't magically heal. They heal at human speed.
Yes, during the blood rite, and which the blood rite's just a week of the Hunger Games.
Have we gone through the trauma yet?
No, not yet. I have written down insert trauma here. No, because it happens when they're about to go up the mountain.
Yeah.
The queen thinks the crown is working on Eris. It's not. Gwen is injured. They've apparently already done well, but they're like, we got to try. We have one more day. So we hear Gwen's story.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Gwen's injury, by the way, is an arrow through the leg or something like that.
Yes, like she can't walk.
So Gwen, when Highburn's armies were coming in or whatever, so it was Gwen. I think her mother was already dead at this point, and she had a twin sister.
Mm-hmm.
And they come. Gwen is like, I need to get the little kids out of here, so she gets them into the underground tunnel or whatever the fuck. She helps them escape.
Mm-hmm.
And then the soldiers come and knocking, and they're like, hey, by the way, where are all the children? And she's like, fuck you, I'm not telling you. And he's like, oh, look, here is your twin sister, because they smell alike, because they're fraternal. And he's like, here's your twin sister. Tell me where they are, or I kill you. Or I kill her. And she's like, I'm not doing it. So he kills her. And then she's like, okay, you're going to tell me where they are? And she's like, no. And he's like, okay, we're all going to rape you to death. So they again rape her and almost to death. Yeah. And then Azriel comes in and swoops in and saves her.
And then Emery, we've heard her story most of the way already, but it's her story her father cut off her wings very brutally, beat her a lot. And then Nesta goes through hers. They decide to climb back to Eris and co. Eris gives a knife to Cassian, but Eris is just playing around yet again. Back to Nesta, forces Emery and Gwen to keep going so she can fend off Emery's evil cousin. Back to Cassian. Like, this is how.
Oh, it turns out as well. Like, I also just don't like as well. Because we're all but told, like, it's heavily implied that it turns out he had ended up being bespelled by the queen.
Yeah. To kill Nesta.
So now I'm like, was he actually a dick?
That's why they were taking the blood rite, I think.
Yeah. It was like, was he actually a bad guy? Like, that's, and I'm sad because now he's dead, and he might not have been a bad guy. Because Emery even said, like, I never really knew him. He never had anything to do with me.
Yeah. And then suddenly he just got very, we meet the Bone Carver's older brother for a brief moment. And then with Nesta, we learn her sword is named Inner Peace. Asriel escapes with Eris, but Cassian can't winnow, so he's stuck with Queen and Brig Brother. Cassian, we're back together now. Cassian shows up for Nesta because the right's technically over because it's dawn, but he's under the Queen's control. The Queen is here.
I wrote down, girls have touched the stone, they're gone.
Yeah. I do not know how we have time for Nyx's birth. Is where I'm at right now.
But we do.
Yeah. Like literally,
she
this is all that's left. It's just this screen. That's it.
And we're like right near the end of the book. She fits a lot into the last 100 pages.
Yeah. So Nesta does.
Cassian's like, kill me before I kill you, and she's like, I can't. I'm not doing that.
It's very dramatic. It's very dramatic in last 100-page fashion. But Nesta dusts the Queen. She's about to tell him she loves him. Oh, no, so she didn't say it earlier. When Moore shows up, like, it's Farah, we gotta go. Farah is dying. She's in labor way too early, so she's 2 months early at this point. So, like, it's not only, like, it's just not happening, it's also very risky, premature. Soon, all three of them will die. They give Farah a C-section to give the baby the best chance, but he's, at this point, not breathing. Nesta goes inside herself. Oh, Farah's like
about to dead.
Yeah. Everyone's dying. Nesta summons the Trove and goes to the cauldron. Like, goes inside to the cauldron. She tells Farah she loves her, and it's the first time she's ever tells anyone out loud that she loves them. And I love that. I love that it's not to Cassie, and I love that it's to Farah. That's very sweet.
Yeah. And your complaint last book, right? Because I was actually paying attention towards the end. I don't think, like you said, like Cassian never tells Nesta in this book that.
He doesn't.
Her. I don't think she tells him either. She says, "You're mine."
No, she does. I think. You. Are you serious? I hate them. Okay. Anyways, if that's real, I hate.
They don't need to say it though.
I don't care. Yes, they do. She says to the cauldron, "Save them all, and I'll give them back to you," which means Nyx is made. By the cauldron because he was dead, brought back to life by the cauldron. Anyways, the cauldron goes a step further.
Yeah, Nesta is just begging, "I'll give it all back. Take all my power. Do everything. Yeah. I'll give it all back. Just give them life." And it's sweet because because the cauldron is the cauldron and the mother the same thing or separate things?
I think that they're separate gods,
at least mythologically.
Or two sides of the same coin or something.
In real life, mythologically, they're different.
Okay.
I think
she gets given something special at, which is the womb stuff, but
so she.
Oh no, that was separate. That was separate. She had requests. She was like, I think she had said, "I'll give it all back, but can I just have this one gift?" But she gets an extra gift, I think.
Yeah, because the cauldron fixes Farah's pelvis and Nessa's pelvis.
I think there was something else as well.
I think that's it. But this is when I wrote down, I was like, but not Elaine. Maybe it's proof that her and Asriel are not ending up together because Elaine has very much mom energy. I feel like Elaine would definitely want to be a mom. So she ends up with Asriel. We just have this problem again. Anyways, Rhys gets on his knees before Nesta and thanks her. They hug. She finally tells Cassian she loves him. Their wedding is in 3 days.
Oh, yeah, she does.
Rhys gives them the House of Wind, and that's the end of the book. We don't see their wedding because Sarah hates me personally. That's it. That's a Court of Silver Flames.
Yeah, it's. Well, again, like, because she's accepted him as her mate and everything, and she's like, I want the royal coronation level of wedding ceremony.
Yeah.
And
they're
he's
having
like,
a big ass wedding.
Yeah. And he's like, you do realize I'm an Illyrian general, right? Do you know how much I'm going to be teased by literally everyone? My people,
if I have
friends,
a fancy wedding.
And she's like, okay, well, I also stole this old half-eaten stale cookie from Pharaoh's room. So here you go. And he goes, so it's either this or the big thing. And she's like, yes. Absolutely.
Which is a very Nesta
Those are your two choices. And he goes, okay, I guess we're having a mating ceremony fit for a queen.
Yep.
And Rhys, because Rhys is like, I owe you my mate. I owe you my son. I don't think
I owe you my life.
Himself.
But
I don't think he cares so much about that.
No.
I think it's more for Feyre and Nyx.
Yeah.
He's like, I owe you. He's like, I will love you forever. He gives them the House of Wind. It's hers. She's like, he's like, this is your house now. Welcome. He's like, the library just needs to stay special. Yeah. He's like, the library just needs to stay special. And she's like, the library could be special. And he's like, excellent.
We need the tax write-off on the library, okay?
Yeah, the taxes that go to me, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will pay. I will get. You want a carne? You want to make?
Yeah. He's like,
ceremony.
I'll buy your wedding.
You know what? I will make it a global event if you want it. I will do whatever you want.
And
anything,
she's like,
everything.
The house is plenty. The house and the wedding is fine. And he's like, got it, good. Everything.
Honestly,
you want,
though, after the way that if I were Nesta, after the way that Rhys spoke to her, I would be like, give me a couple days.
I mean,
give me an apology.
Mansion.
I'll make you a shopping list.
Oh. But she also, if she's resuming her duties as like whatever job she had, she will get paid again. So there's also like that. But
yeah, but then she's gonna have to buy things with her own money instead of his money.
It's all his money. Everything is Rhys's money.
Not the point. On paper, it's her money.
But moral of the story is we're not getting another one of these for at least 2 years. Which is depressing.
Yeah, because Crescent City 3 is coming out early next year. So
February 1st. I'm gonna die.
So we probably won't get the next ACOTAR at least until a year later.
Yeah. Which sucks.
Especially if they keep getting longer.
But this one came out like so long ago. You know? It was like 2021, like a whole 2 years ago.
Yeah. But she's just like, I'm sorry. Sarah, you had no business signing a new 4-book deal.
This came out February 16th, 2021. Let me see when Crescent City 1 versus 2 came out, because I want to see how much time was between them. Crescent City 1 came out March 3rd, 2020. Oh, wow. I think 2 just came out last year. Yeah. Okay, so... Yeah, there was exactly 2 years between Crescent City 1 and Crescent City 2, and there will be exactly 2 years between 2 and 3. Which makes sense. Those things are honkers.
She had no business signing a new 4-book deal until...
No, because we're owed a ACOTAR this year.
We're owed 2 ACOTARs. Maybe not this year, but in general, we're still owed 2 ACOTARs.
Yes. We still have 2 more ready to, like, with no title and no book cover, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah, and that tells me that it's not coming out next year if there's no title and no book cover released yet.
Oh, yeah. No.
Especially no title.
Which is really sad. But, yeah, she starts promoting really early, so we're not getting it anytime soon.
Yeah.
But we're doing Fourth Wing next week.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I read it already. I'm really far ahead in a book club. I don't know. It was like a solid 3 stars for me, but we'll get into it next week.
Okay.
I don't know, because TikTok is in love with it, and a lot of people it's one of the highest rated books on Goodreads right now. So yes, I'm in the minority.
But TikTok is also obsessed. TikTok is also obsessed with Cruel Prince.
That is fair.
Hey, we said that we were gonna keep trying out TikTok books.
Oh no, I liked knowing what everyone's talking about, and I've also already accumulated enough fan art to share with the class next week. I've also accumulated all the fan art for Throne of Glass and Crescent City for when we get there.
Yep. I have also been saving a whole bunch of videos of sing if you've read this book, and it's all just you know what, we're just gonna call both regardless of whichever way and meaning you mean it, romantic fantasy, fantasy romance. We're just gonna say romances. All the romancy. Sing if you've read things.
I'll be honest, nobody's actually good at discerning which one's which. Nobody's good at actually discerning which one's which, and they all mean the same thing at this point. All of the ones that are actually being talked about on book talk.
That's why I'm just saying romancy.
It's fine.
I'm encompassing both romantic subplot or fantasy subplot. Either or, they're both romancy now. forever.
Yeah, because we need to figure out what we're gonna do after our Crescent City, like for another SJM break, because Throne of Glass is gonna be long, ladies.
I feel like we also might have to take like a mid-series break.
We're gonna have to take a mid-series break.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
It's dense. Because I mean, I will say with Crescent City and Throne of Glass, you gotta pay like really heavy attention to the first early parts of the books, because it throws a lot of shit at you and expects you to understand it. And I didn't get most of it till I reread it the second time. So I made very, very comprehensive notes of the world building aspect. For in case like you guys still don't get it or something, so like we can go through, because I read this book now twice in 2 months. Because I really like this series. So I have a really comprehensive, because it's very confusing. Crescent City is. It's very confusing.
Oh, you also haven't discussed your tattoo for today.
Oh, it's the blood right, because I didn't have any fire. But next week I'm gonna be really on point. I got dragons, babies.
Oh, one other thing to mention in this book as well, which won't be relevant maybe ever, but if it is relevant, it won't be relevant for probably another 2 years, is there's the 3 special magic mountains. One of them's the prison, one of them is under the mountain.
Yeah.
And the other one is the Bloodright Mountain.
Yeah.
And 2 out of 3 of them have had like palaces under the mountain, like within the mountain. The prison got turned into a prison. Under the mountain, Amarantha was like, this is mine now, and I will make it my court. No one has ever, it's explicitly mentioned, no one has ever thought to look under the Bloodright Mountain to see if that also has a thing. And
that's
because that
be
was
something.
mentioned, I feel like
something.
There might be something there to keep in mind.
So what I have learned with her is something that you might think it's a throwaway line. It's not. It's gonna come back to bite you somewhere. It might not be in that series, but it's gonna come back to bite you somewhere.
So yeah, so because the 3 mountains of the Night Court Signia are those 3 mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Even though only 2 out of 3 of them are in the Night Court.
Yeah.
But the other one's not. But they're the 3 magic mountains of Prithian, and 2 out of 3 of them have been explored and found castles underneath. And no one has thought to look underneath the 3rd one.
That's got to be a thing someday.
So yeah, I guess we'll have to just keep that in mind.
Okay.
So unless it's the Night Court Mountain, that's the 3rd mountain.
Like the Court of Nightmares?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I think they should still
irrelevant.
I like the theory.
Yeah. Bloodright Mountain, though I can't remember the actual name of the mountain though. But that one is definitely the 3rd one that is unexplored underneath.
Also, fun fact that I knew this, but we've never said it. Originally, Nesta and Lucian were supposed to end up together, and that is
yes,
that is the weirdest thing ever.
What?
Yeah, originally SGM.
It's in that Reddit thread.
It's why she is like a flames, like she's flames. That's why Nesta's flames, because
it's why her drawer is flames, and in the thing, or at least that's the theory. If this theory is correct,
which
we're able to retcon the flames though to fit what she becomes.
Yeah. But yeah,
I feel like Cassian is a good choice for her.
Yeah, I think so too. Lucian doesn't have enough.
I will say as well, I don't think Lucian. Well, I don't think Lucian would allow. I don't think he would give her the same opportunity to grow and be strong as what Cassian. Cassian's like, you want to be strong, fine. We're just going to train every day, and then we're going to train more, and then we're going to do more, and then we're going to go on a hike.
Yeah.
And one thing I really liked as well is Cassian really wanted to go into Bloodright to rescue her, and everyone was like, no, you can't, because like death. And I think the only he in his head he's like, yeah, that makes sense. I won't do that. I won't condemn her to death. But I think there was also undertones of, I know she can handle this anyway, so she'll be fine. Which I like. Lucian wouldn't want to go in there to rescue her, but he also wouldn't be like, she'll be fine. He would be fucking just like
freaking out.
He would be demanding to speak to the manager. That is how he would spend his week.
Yep,
speaking to the manager. And like I do agree, justice for Lucian, but he's not at all the right pairing for her. I don't know who his correct pairing should be, but it's not.
Apparently, I mean, I can Vasa, the human queen.
Yeah,
that's the most.
He's fire. She's a firebird.
Yeah, like it's the
but
most.
But she's not actually on purpose firebird. She was cursed to be one.
And I don't know. We'll have to see. God, this theory. The theory of the Reddit post has the theory that Crescent City, MC, and Azrael are endgame, which I honestly, I'd be here for the chaos. I'd be here for the chaos because I don't see how that would work. But you know what? Whatever.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, yeah.
But
so
say goodbye to Akatar for 2 years.
No.
Yeah, but we'll do Fourth Wing next week, and
yes.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I think that's it. All right, bye.